Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here, back with another detailed tropical weather outlook and discussion for September 2nd, 2024. So, taking a look at our latest GOES 16 True Color Visible Satellite Imagery provided by Dr. Levi Cowan at tropicaltidbits.com. There will be a link in the description below this video. And as we can see, the satellite imagery today, we can see that the tropical wave that we've been tracking now is over the northeastern Caribbean, over Puerto Rico, over the British U.S. Virgin Islands, including St. Kitts and Nevis, bringing some showers and thunderstorms to that area. This is a closer zoomed in view provided by zoomearth.com, link in the description. And we can see right here, once again, Puerto Rico getting some showers and thunderstorms. We got some low level trade wind showers moving in out of the east-southeast over Antigua and Barbuda, St. Bethany, as well as Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as Guadeloupe. We have more concentrated showers and thunderstorms moving over Martinique, St. Lucia, as well as Dominica for this afternoon, over Barbados as well. But we can also see that the wave pocket is not very defined. We still have winds coming in out of the south here. We have winds doing this, and we have winds exiting this way. So this is a very broad in nature tropical wave. Nothing that is going to tighten up very significantly anytime soon. But we will nevertheless keep watching this as it treks its way across the rest of the Caribbean in the next 2 to 4 days. So this is a closer zoomed in view provided by zoomearth.com. Link in the description below this video also to that website. And we can see when we look at this really closely over Puerto Rico, we have showers and thunderstorms moving over the area, the British Virgin Islands as well. We got showers and thunderstorms if you're in Anguilla, if you're in St. Bartholomew, as well as Antigua and Barbuda, you're getting also showers and thunderstorms also from the low-level trade winds as well that are blowing those showers in towards your direction. Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique also seen some on-again, off-again showers and thunderstorms from these trade winds. And then St. Lucia down here seeing more pop-up showers from time to time. So that's kind of how today is going to go. That's really the extent of the impacts as this wave envelope remains not very well defined. In fact, it's barely a wave envelope in itself. We have easterly winds here. We have winds coming in out of this direction. So this is a very loose tropical wave in nature, and it is not poised to organize very quickly as it makes its way across the rest of the Caribbean in the next 2 to 4 days. But nevertheless, it is still worth watching as this moves over the central and northwestern Caribbean over the next 3 to 5 days, where the National Hurricane Center here still maintains a 40% chance of tropical development in the next 7 days, while there is no chance of development right now in the next 2 days as this moves across the northeastern into the central Caribbean. But once this gets into the southern Gulf of Mexico, perhaps there may be some development still probable. So with that being said, here's a look at the European model looking at our precipitation forecast. Anything in green is theoretically showers. Some darker green colors indicate heavier rainfall. So this is one of those models that we're looking at here from weathermodels.com. Link in the description as well to that website. And so we can see where our concentration of showers and thunderstorms will be throughout the day today over the northeastern Caribbean, over Puerto Rico, over the U.S. British Virgin Islands. If you're on Antigua, Barbuda, as well as Barbados, keep that in mind. There will be some minor impacts, but more than likely very minor indeed, nothing too significant at all. Now, as we go forward in time, this tropical wave will remain very, very poorly organized. We have a blotch of green, a lot of green here, so enhanced showers and thunderstorms, but no surface wave axis here on the model. In fact, these isobars do something like this, so they're going out like that, which means there is more straight trade winds moving through here. There's no pinched off any area where the winds do this and they kind of curve back like that. Instead, they're pretty much smooth throughout the Caribbean here, which indicates this is a very weak tropical wave. Probably not even a tropical wave in itself, but ever so slightly we are seeing enhanced convection. So that's why this is declared as that. Now, going forward here on the European over the next, say, 5 days, we are still looking at enhanced showers and thunderstorms. The European model does not indicate there will not be any tropical development right now. So that's why I am bringing my intensity forecast down, and I now no longer forecast this to become a tropical depression, and I'm just going to have to take it run by run basis as we get closer, once this gets closer into that favorable environment. And then going out to, say, day 6, day 7, still nothing out there at all on the European model that this is not going to develop into anything significant at all over the Caribbean or over the Gulf of Mexico, which is good news. But what about the GFS model? So looking at the GFS for this afternoon, we can see as we go forward in time, we again still see some showers, some enhancement due to those or due to the tropical wave that we have here. And also the GFS, not very optimistic at this at all. There's not really much of a surface wave feature here. I'll show you the winds here in a little bit. But it does try to develop still with a closed area of low pressure approaching perhaps the Yucatan Peninsula here, Playa del Carmen, by the time we go into about the day 7 time frame. But again, this is probably a little bit on the aggressive side, given that even the Canadian model that I'm about to show you does not indicate any more tropical development. Very little, if any, on this. So this is probably the most aggressive run right now, the worst case scenario, showing the heaviest rainfall and the more organized banding futures with what a tropical depression would have. But nevertheless, the GFS is back and forth with all of this, and that's why I'm not going out beyond the 7-day time frame for many reasons. I'm even more risky going out 7 days than just doing 5 days. So looking at the Canadian model here, looking at the precipitation forecast as well, you can see there it is the enhancement of showers and thunderstorms moving over Jamaica, over the Haitian Peninsula, over the next 2 or so days. So make sure you're ready to go with some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, that sort of thing. But nothing like what we could have been seeing if this stuck on the models like 4 days ago. We were possibly looking at a tropical storm here. But good news, it's just going to be a very weak open wave. Nothing too significant, nothing that I'm concerned about. Don't be concerned. You don't really need to get prepared for anything significant. Just some showers and some thunderstorms. More enhancement to those storms than anything. And then going out to day 3, day 4, still nothing really here on the Canadian model. In fact, where's our tropical wave at? Where is it? It's probably right here where we have the most of the heaviest rainfall. And that seems where it's going to be at. But look at also no development on this system at all. But it is worth tracking just in case that something pops up. So now our icon model does not have a precipitation forecast type format where we could actually look at radar forecast simulated. So instead we're looking at our winds here. And as we go forward, again, this is what our wave looks like pretty much right now. Very loose. Again, trade winds throughout the entire wave pocket. So there's no southwesterly winds here. We're not seeing anything that looks very organized, very disorganized system. And when we look at the icon model, still fails to get its act together. It really doesn't do much. It doesn't. This is 3 days out, all right? Greg D even suggested that I just go out to 3 days, but I'm going out a little further because we have a little bit more better confidence today that this is not going to be much of a big threat at all like we thought literally like 3 or 4 days ago. But nevertheless, there is still a wave pocket here where we have stronger trade winds to the north, weaker trade winds to the south. And once this gets into the Yucatan in about 4 days, again, the icon not picking much up at all with this. In fact, one could even argue, is this even a tropical depression or is this even a tropical wave at all? So 3 out of 4 models indicate that this is going to be a very weak system, except for the GFS that is most bullish with the forecast and seems to be that way. That's why I'm not really putting a lot of pressure onto the GFS right now, just because we're going with our majority of the models. And in fact, we're going to open up a new tab here, and I'm going to show you the ensembles here in a second. Here's a look at the rainfall forecast. Again, rainfall amounts anywhere between maybe 2 to 3 inches, especially over the Central America area, such as Belize as well as Cozumel, including for areas here to the north of the Yucatan. I know Cozumel is down here. Belize is also down here as well, but circling a general area here that's going to see some of the rainfall, and you're looking at anywhere between 2 to 3 inches. And you can see additional rainfall here over these islands, only about an inch or so. So again, nothing too substantial with that. Here's a look at the spaghetti plot from the European Ensemble Prediction System, all 51 members that run this ensemble, including the control run. So we can see here, very little signal being picked up here. Maybe a depression, but again, I am pretty much too generous on that right now, and I'm not really confident that this is even going to develop at all, with maybe at least a 30 to 40% chance that this could still become a depression at the very most, but I'm not forecasting it at the moment. One outlier model run here, or model member, still indicating that this could become a major hurricane, which big X, not going to worry about it. Let's not scare people here. Not going to develop at all. 1 out of 51 members, all right? So now looking at the GEFS ensemble forecast. This is again from the global ensemble forecast. Really aggressive. I mean, way too aggressive on this still as of the 06Z run. All right, we'll get our 0Z run or our 12Z run out later this afternoon. But right now, I am not showing much in the way of tropical development with that disturbance at all. I don't know what the GFS is on, but that's probably why they're keeping it at 40% on the National Hurricane Center. And that's why I'm only going out to 7 days with this. And this is about the 7-day time frame on this run, showing really stupendous development, which I don't think it's going to do much at all. And then, of course, out here in the main development region, we're going to have to watch for more areas of development later down the road. But that's for another video, and we're not really going to worry about that right now. So now to the second half of this video. This is not going to take much longer at all, but I wanted to tell you all the reason why the Atlantic is in its slumber state still, with no tropical development, likely at least for the next 7 or so days. So this is from Craig Sedzer, CCM, which is a really great guy. He knows his stuff very well. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. There will be a link citing these posts from him. So I'm going to read this out to you all because this is fairly important information on why our hurricane season is not looking very busy right now. So the tropical wave models originally developed is now entering the Eastern Caribbean Sea. Development is unlikely until at least it approaches Central America. So again, over Belize, over the Bay of Campeche, all right? But the question remains, why does the Atlantic hurricane season continue to underperform the hyperactive seasonal forecasts? While there's too many factors at play, one has been the orientation of the monsoon trough, or the intertropical convergence zone. It has been further north over Africa, giving it a northeast to southwest orientation. Scientific research is rich concerning the Indian and Pacific monsoon trough, ITCZ, but lacks in the Atlantic. Maybe because the Atlantic feature is usually more east-west orientation stable. So what happens next in 2014 research was presented. We're not going to look at that though, because boy, there's a lot to read off of that. You guys can check it out. There's a link right here to that post. Actually, no, not to that post, to this website where you can check it out, where you can read all about this, okay? But we're just going to focus on this guy's tweet, showing how after September 1st, the East and Central Atlantic monsoon trough and tropical cyclone generated activity shuts down fairly quickly, while the West Atlantic and Caribbean pick up. So in other words, folks, we're going to start looking at the Central American area, like the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, for development as we go into the second half of September. In other words, our attention will be now focused for areas closer to home, and that's over the Windward Islands, Leeward, Greater Antilles, that sort of thing. That's where we got Ian. That's pretty much where we got Ian a couple of years ago. It developed out of that Central American region, off of, say, central the ABC Islands. So another post that I wanted to show you all too that relates to this post is a lot of talk lately about the monsoon trough. The MT is where winds from one direction meet winds from another direction in the ocean. It's not a front per se because it doesn't separate types of air masses, but because of the change in wind direction across this line, it does add twist. What we talked about is when you have winds. Let me do this a little bit better. So when you have, let me actually illustrate this if I can, my cameras, but you get the idea. When you have winds meeting each other, what we call a strike slip setup within the monsoon trough, and that's where we get vortices or perturbations that spin up. That's where we get a background flow that really favors that. Okay, but the thing that we're missing here, folks, is the updrafts. Thunderstorms that are able to consolidate and complete the circuitry needed for genesis to develop, all right? That's kind of what's going on right now. The monsoon trough vorticity spin in the atmosphere, but a lack of thunderstorm persistence and coverage over it due to a lack of high moisture sinking air over the Atlantic is resulting in little development. Without a focal point from a low pressure area, a healthy tropical wave or thunderstorm complex is not there. Computer models will have a hard time determining where the center of tropical cyclones will form. Bottom line, until we actually have a tropical disturbance we track, there's very little value in tracking model outcomes several days out. I did that just on our disturbance, but I'm not going to be looking at 10 days now from here on out. I'm not comfortable because models are just bouncing all over the place. And so this is what we're looking at here. Very good annotation here. So you have northeasterly winds here. You have the southwesterly winds. This is our vorticity orientation here. We need this to be more in line, more kind of like this, more so, not as northeast orientated. Because if it is, then this ends up being way up here, and then our tropical waves like to develop over here, and then they move out this way. That has been the case so far, and why we haven't had much development. Really, really a surprise to a lot of people that are saying, oh, this is going to be a hyperactive season. Late September still provides maybe some opportunity, but may not be a revolution of anything. So looking at the latest ITF intertropical front, where again that intertropical convergence zone actually is, still as of now pretty far to the north, further north than usual. And this has not updated in a while yet. We'll get a new update hopefully in a couple of days, but still very far to the north as of late, and it's not helping the situation. Still further north than it even should be climatology, and this is the eastern portion of the intertropical convergence zone over eastern Africa. Okay, so if you can picture Africa, if we go back here, this is basically this whole area of convergence is further north than it should be. And it's just not in a favorable, conducive environment to allow anything to spin up. So now the question really remains, will this slumber party continue in the Atlantic, or will we see a streak break with development? It's very hard to say right now. For sure, at the moment, the GFS is going to be hype casting right now because we have all of this sinking motion moving over the Atlantic here over the next couple of weeks. After that point, I'm still thinking after the 17th or the 18th of September, we might see a renewed opportunity of tropical development. But again, we said that 3 or 4 weeks ago, and yet we have to get something. So that's why right now I'm a little skeptical about seeing this and thinking that, oh, we're going to have tropical development. We are not sure yet. But the fail-safe mode here is that we might get 1 or 2 named storms for the rest of September, or we may get as much as 5 or 6 named storms. Right now, I'm more generous, and I'm only predicting at least 1 to 3 named storms in September for this given time frame. And October right now looks to be fairly inactive in some sense. But again, that can change in a hurry, and I can only base my predictions off of what I'm seeing here. But right now, it looks like the hyperactive season hyperbole is off the table right now. I just don't think we're going to have a hyperactive season, and it looks like we're inching closer to a busted season. If we can't get any development by early October, we could really call this probably a bust of a season. We had 5 named storms, 5 landfalls, but I'll tell you what right now, the ace points are really gonna underperform if we don't see anything by late September. All right, but anyways, if you found this video very helpful, very informative, and rather detailed and well explained, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, everybody. I want to thank you all for getting me to 26,030 subscribers. That's where we're at right now. So thank you all for subscribing, sharing this video with your family and friends on social media. It really means a lot, you guys. I truly like making these videos, and I can't do this without all of your diligent sharing, support, likes, and subscriptions. As always, have a great rest of your Labor Day, Monday, September the 2nd, 2024. I will be back with you more in a couple of days unless something changes. I'm probably not going to update as often as the tropics right now look fairly quiet. So enjoy this video while it lasts. All right. Thank you guys for watching.